This is Annette Buchanan Phillips from Windows on the World and WECK. And I'd like to address a social issue today that's very near and dear to my heart. And that has to do with education. Education is in desperate need of reform. It seems that we have failed to connect with our learners. Our learners become scholars when they take their education to heart, when they become dedicated to learning and learn to love learning. And in order for us to make learning a priority for the learner, we need to connect with the learner on more than one level. We need to connect with the learner emotionally, intellectually. We need to connect with the spirit and the soul of the learner. We need to tailor our educational approach to not only the growth and development level of the learner, but also to provide emotional, psychological, and even spiritual support. Not religious necessarily, but spiritual support in helping the child to believe in themselves, to believe in their own capabilities, to have healthy self-esteem, to acknowledge themselves as sufficient within themselves. And when we use the approaches that have been outlined by such notable educational psychologists as Erickson and Piaget and even Maslow in his hierarchy of needs, then we will adjust our approach to education to better connectivity with the student or the learner at whatever age they appear before us requesting or requiring education. I feel that education has to move outside of a building and into the home of each student. And that's why I propose floating educators. And because in Ohio, homeschooling is forbidden unless one parent has a teaching certificate. And that's not always possible. And especially not in low-income families where it is very, very difficult for people to afford private education. At one point in time, I thought that vouchers of tax dollars, allocating tax dollars to households with school-age people would be a very, very efficacious use of tax dollars in terms of an educational approach. However, it seems that I don't know if it's been misappropriated or if it just hasn't had enough time to develop, but one problem we must address is the violence that occurs every day on our children, bullying tactics and violence, killings, rapes, slander, just beatings. It's just horrendous, and we must act now to save our children. They are our future. They're the only future we've got. We've got to protect it. We've got to make moves in the right directions, put our dollars in the right places to be more efficient in our approach to education. We're going to have to take the education out of the classroom and into the home of each student. We can mobilize floating teachers and teams to go and teach students according to schedules. We can cluster meeting places for students in environments of apartment complexes, associations, gated communities, etc. We can centralize a location for educational purposes in a clubhouse, in a party room, wherever we need to be in order to make our children safe so that they can learn. Children cannot learn in an environment of fear. No one can. I can't. Can you?